What if April 2025 isn't just another month, but the moment your entire life begins to shift? If you're a Pisces, especially over 50, the universe is calling louder than ever. Jupiter, the planet of prosperity, is rising in your favor. But here's the truth. Luck doesn't just happen. It responds to courage, to clarity, to those who are willing to say, "I'm ready." Right now, you might feel stuck, financially, emotionally, even spiritually. Like something inside you is meant for more, but life keeps pulling you back. That tension, it's not a dead end, it's a doorway. This video will walk you through the 6 cosmic forces lining up in your favor, from financial breakthroughs to creative rebirths, and love that's finally deep and real. But only if you lean in and take action. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss powerful guidance tailored to your journey. And to set the tone for what's coming, comment below, "I welcome growth and harmony into my life." That one small action signals to the universe. You're open, you're ready, and you're stepping into alignment. Let's begin. Part 1. Jupiter's Breath, a new era of financial freedom for Pisces. April 2025 marks a rare and powerful financial alignment for Pisces. As Jupiter, the planet of growth, abundance, and expansion, casts its full blessing on your sign. But Jupiter doesn't simply hand out wealth. It awakens the courage to act, the insight to choose wisely, and the clarity to begin again, especially after 50. For those who think they've missed their chance at financial freedom, this season says otherwise. It's not too late. In fact, for many Pisces, this is your prime time. Jupiter's influence in April opens doors in 4 transformational sectors. Stock markets are recovering and offering entry points for long-term growth. Cryptocurrencies are maturing, moving beyond speculation into real-world utility. Real estate is evolving with sustainable and community-driven models. Fintech is revolutionizing personal finance, making investing more accessible to older adults. Let's take the story of Marie, a 65-year-old retired librarian living in Lyon, France. For most of her life, Marie lived modestly and avoided anything that involved high risk or complex finances. But one night, in early 2024, she dreamt of the number 214, strange, persistent, and vivid. She mentioned it over lunch to her niece, who happened to be researching a Dutch renewable energy company. Guess what? Their latest solar project was titled Solar 214. Intrigued, Marie trusted her gut and asked her niece to help her invest a small portion of her retirement savings. By April 2025, that investment had grown by 340%. But more than the numbers, Marie felt reborn. She had trusted her intuition, taken a leap, and proved to herself that wisdom has no expiration date. Most Pisces over 50 have gone through market crashes, personal losses, and moments of financial uncertainty. But those experiences become your edge. Jupiter supports those who move with patience and purpose, not panic. Pisces, your greatest assets aren't in a bank. They're in your ability to read energy, follow feelings, and pause before the world rushes forward. Intuition becomes strategy. Stillness becomes a competitive advantage. So if you're thinking of taking a financial leap, start small, but start smart. Research companies whose missions align with your values. Look into ethical funds or sustainability-driven projects in Europe and beyond. Jupiter is not promising overnight wealth. It's offering long-term transformation through steady, inspired action. And remember, this isn't just about money. It's about proving to yourself that your financial story doesn't end, it evolves. This month, Pisces, the winds of Jupiter are finally at your back. Part 2. Saturn and Venus, a love that's built to last. If Jupiter lights up your finances, then Saturn and Venus are working silently behind the scenes to transform your heart. In astrology, Saturn is the wise teacher, Eastern but fair, symbolizing structure, responsibility, and deep emotional maturity. Venus, on the other hand, is the muse of love, beauty, and soulful connection. When these two cosmic forces align, they don't ignite a reckless passion. They awaken a love that is steady, rooted, and meant to last. This is especially meaningful if you're over 50, perhaps widowed, divorced, or just tired of relationships that once promised everything but gave too little. April 2025 offers something different. Not a whirlwind, but a warm breeze. A connection that feels safe, grounded, and true. Let me tell you the story of Gunther and Sophia, two strangers from Germany. Gunther, a 68-year-old retired architect, lost his wife to cancer in 2018. He stopped traveling, gardening, and attending any events. He simply drifted. Sophia, a 66-year-old from Hamburg, lost her husband in 2020. For years, she masked her pain with volunteer work, but the emptiness lingered. In early 2024, they both, on a whim, signed up for a 10-day mindfulness and breathing retreat in the Bavarian Alps. They had no intention of finding love. They were simply looking for peace. But somewhere between the shared silence and the slow evening walks, something shifted. There were no fireworks, no instant declarations. Just two tired souls slowly recognizing each other's scars and the quiet courage behind their eyes. They started talking, then laughing, then calling. By March 2025, they'd sold their apartments and moved into a modest countryside home. Not for excitement, but for companionship that felt like home. They meditate every morning together. They cook slow meals. And they speak of their late spouses with gratitude, not grief. This is Saturn and Venus at work. Not a love that distracts you from your wounds, but one that holds your hand while you heal. The nature of mature love. Love at this age isn't about chasing butterflies. It's about building something lasting. It's not the fire of youth, but the warm glow of understanding. A partner who doesn't try to fix you, but walks beside you. Someone who listens when you speak slowly, who sees your past, respects your scars, and says, "I'm here anyway." When Saturn meets Venus, romance becomes devotion. It becomes the quiet cup of tea after dinner, the silent walk through the park, the shared glance that says more than words ever could. And for Pisces, a deeply emotional, empathetic soul, this type of love is not just a want, it's a sacred need. Love as healing. This season, don't just open your heart to the idea of romance. Open your life to the idea of companionship. The kind that helps you feel safe in your own skin. The kind that makes the ordinary feel extraordinary again. Whether it's someone you meet at a book club, during a yoga class, or in a local cafe, let yourself be seen. Let yourself be known again, even if your heart is still healing, especially if it is. Because real love doesn't demand perfection. It simply asks, can we walk this path together? And if you're willing, Pisces, the stars are ready to send you someone who says yes. Part 3. Trust your inner voice. Intuition as the ultimate guide. If the stars are the map, then your intuition is the compass. For Pisces, intuition isn't just a vague feeling. It's a natural superpower. It's the inner voice that nudges you toward the right path, even when logic hasn't caught up yet. In astrology, Pisces is ruled by Neptune, the planet of dreams and higher awareness. That means your gift isn't always about what you see, it's about what you sense. But in a noisy world filled with endless distractions, notifications, and opinions, it's easy to lose touch with that inner voice. And when you do, decisions start to feel cloudy. life feels overwhelming, and you begin to doubt yourself. So how do you bring that quiet guidance back into focus? The power of stillness. The answer lies in creating space. Silence isn't emptiness, it's clarity. And Pisces thrives in silence. One of the most effective tools for tuning back into your intuition is meditation. Not the complex, ritual-heavy kind, but simply sitting with your breath for 5 minutes a day. Breathe in, breathe out. Let the mental chatter soften. The stiller you become, the clearer the messages get. In Buddhist practice, there's a powerful phrase. When the heart is calm, the mind becomes clear. When you cultivate inner calm, your mind stops chasing answers and begins receiving them. Another profound tool is journaling, not to analyze, but to listen. Each morning, try writing 1 page with the prompt, "What does my soul want me to know today?" Just overthink, just write. Over time, patterns and truths begin to surface, not from your mind, but from your core. Take the story of Elena, a 58-year-old woman from Portugal. For 30 years, she worked as a corporate manager in Lisbon. Her life looked successful from the outside. Nice apartment, stable job, predictable routine. But inside, she felt numb. One rainy morning in early 2023, while meditating at a retreat, she suddenly saw an image flash in her mind. A garden filled with orange trees and children running barefoot. It felt so real, so alive. It moved her to tears. She didn't know what it meant, but she felt it was calling her. Over the next few months, she couldn't shake the vision. She started journaling, meditating more, and finally, she made a bold decision. She left her job, sold her apartment, and moved to the countryside of Alentejo. Today, she runs a small wellness farm where she teaches mindfulness to children and grows oranges, exactly like in the vision. She didn't have a 10-step plan. She followed her inner guidance, one whisper at a time. Elena, that didn't change my life. My life returned to me once I listened. Intuition is the deepest truth. For Pisces, logic will never be enough. You are designed to feel your way through life. And that's not a weakness. It's your greatest strength. Your intuition knows what your mind hasn't figured out yet. This April, as cosmic energy flows through you, give your inner voice space to speak. Create quiet. Welcome stillness. Trust your first instinct, not the loudest opinion. Because deep down, you already know the way. Part 4, Hidden Genius, Unleashing Your Creative Power After 50. Somewhere deep inside you, beneath the habits, the responsibilities, and the years of putting others first, lives an artist, an inventor, a storyteller, a hidden genius who hasn't disappeared, just been forgotten. Pisces, your soul was born to imagine, to create, to transform emotion into expression. And yet, so many of us believe that creativity has an age limit, that painting is for the young, music is for the gifted, and invention belongs to someone else. But the truth is, creativity isn't a luxury. It's a survival tool. Especially after 50, when life has changed, slowed, or even shattered in some way, creativity becomes the way back home. The fire still burns. After decades of structure, careers, raising families, managing finances, something shifts. You begin to ask, is this all there is? And that quiet question is often the first spark of creative rebirth. This isn't about becoming famous or chasing success. This is about making something just because it feels good to your soul. Whether it's writing poetry at sunrise, shaping clay in silence, or learning the piano you've always admired, your creativity doesn't have to prove anything. It only needs to breathe. Let me share the story of Ingrid, a 67-year-old woman from Denmark. She had just retired from her job as a school nurse when her husband passed away unexpectedly. After the funeral, life felt hollow. She couldn't sleep. She barely ate. Everything reminded her of the life they had built and lost. One afternoon, while walking through town, she passed a local art studio offering pottery classes. On a whim, and mostly to escape the house, she signed up. She hadn't touched clay since she was a teenager. At first, her hands trembled. Her shapes were awkward. But week after week, she showed up. Something strange happened. The more she worked the clay, the more she felt herself soften. Grief that had frozen inside her slowly began to move. After 6 months, she opened a small home pottery workshop. Today, she sells handmade bowls and mugs at the farmer's market. But more importantly, she smiles again. The clay didn't fix my pain, she says, but it gave my sadness somewhere to go. Creativity is self-care. Pisces, your imagination is one of your greatest gifts. Don't let it fade under routine. In Buddhist teachings, creativity is considered a form of mindfulness, a way to live deeply in the present moment. When your hands are shaping, writing, strumming, or painting, your mind isn't worried about the past or anxious about the future. You're simply here. And in that presence, healing begins. You don't need to be good at it. The value lies not in the result, but in the release, in the joy, in the remembering of who you were before life got serious. It's never too late to begin. What's one thing you always dreamed of doing, but never tried? Singing, woodwork, knitting, writing your story. Start there. Not because the world needs another artist, but because you need to remember how alive you can feel when you create. There's no expiration date on inspiration. Your second act might just be your most beautiful. Part 5. Healing the body, calming the soul. Pisces Wellness Blueprint. As we age, the body speaks louder. Every ache, every restless night, every short breath becomes a message, not of failure, but of invitation. An invitation to care deeper, to slow down, and to listen inward. For Pisces, whose soul has always lived somewhere between the ocean of dreams and the weight of the world, self-care is not a luxury, it's a lifeline. And in April 2025, with Jupiter energizing your life path, now is the time to align your physical health with your spiritual rhythm. The blueprint is simple, but powerful. 4 pillars. Sleep, nutrition, movement, stillness. Sleep, a sacred reset. Sleep is not just rest, it's recovery. For Pisces, whose energy can be drained by emotions and external noise, sleep is sacred. Aim to create a gentle wind-down ritual. Dim the lights after 8 p.m. Sip warm herbal tea, like chamomile or lavender. Play soft instrumental music. Let go of screens an hour before bed. The Buddha taught, when the body is at ease, the mind finds peace. Nutrition? For peace, not just energy. At 60 and beyond, digestion slows and cravings change. Instead of rigid diets, Pisces benefits from the philosophy of just enough. Enough to nourish, not to numb. Enough to feel light, not deprived. Practical tips. Choose fresh whole foods, steamed veggies, rice, legumes, fish, and fruit. Avoid overeating. Eat until you're 80% full. Chew slowly and eat in silence if possible. Appreciate where the food came from. Gratitude aids digestion. This simple act transforms eating into a mindfulness practice. Movement, gentle flow, not force. Pisces doesn't need high-impact workouts. You need rhythmic, soul-connected movement. Think slow walking, Tai Chi, stretching under sunlight, dancing to soft music alone in your room. One of the best exercises? Walking meditation. Step, breathe in, step, breathe out. Let your body move with nature. Let your mind follow your breath. Stillness, your inner shoreline. Meditation is not about emptying the mind. It's about observing it with kindness. Just 10 minutes a day of sitting still, focusing on your breath, and letting thoughts come and go like clouds can change your entire nervous system. If formal meditation feels intimidating, try this. Sit by a window, watch the trees sway. Close your eyes, listen to birds or the hum of life around you. Repeat the mantra, Tu Dang Tho, Tu Dang Song. I am breathing, I am alive. A one-day wellness routine for Pisces 60+. 6:30 IMF, wake gently, no alarm. Breathe in the morning air. 7:00 IM, stretch, or do 10 minutes of mindful movement. 8:00 IMing light warm breakfast. Herbal tea, no phone. 10:00 IM, go for a 30-minute walk outside. Just walk, just notice. 12:00 PM, simple lunch. Eat slowly, chew fully. 2:00 PM, rest or read something soulful. Journal if inspired. 4:00 PM, connect with someone. A call, a chat, a smile. 6:00 PM, early dinner. Gentle music or silence. 8:00 PM, light candle, gratitude list. Short breathing practice. 9:30 PM, sleep, naturally, peacefully. This is the medicine Pisces truly needs. Not pills, but presence. Not pressure, but peace. Take care of your body. It has carried your soul this far. Now let it carry you into the next chapter with strength, softness, and grace. Part 6. Your life is already a treasure map. Learn from the past. Pisces, your life isn't a random series of events. It's a map. And if you trace it carefully, you'll see every joy, every heartbreak, every quiet breakthrough was never wasted. It was placed exactly where it needed to be, as markers, as clues, as keys. We often look at the past with regret or guilt. But what if your past isn't a burden? What if it's your greatest teacher? In both Buddhist and Stoic teachings, the past is not something to escape. It's something to embrace, understand, and transform. The Buddha taught that suffering, when observed with mindfulness, becomes insight. The Stoics believed that adversity, when reflected upon, becomes fuel for wisdom. A lifetime of lessons waiting to be discovered. Try this simple exercise. Take a sheet of paper and draw a timeline of your life, decade by decade. Then, under each period, write one failure that still stings, one success that still warms you, and one lesson you learned from each. This isn't just nostalgia, it's clarity. What patterns do you see? What strengths kept returning, even in your weakest moments? What beliefs did you outgrow? What stayed true? Soon you'll realize you weren't just surviving, you were collecting wisdom. And that wisdom is the real wealth you carry into this new chapter. Let me tell you about Eduardo, an 82-year-old man from Spain. He had lived through bankruptcy, divorce, and years of isolation. For decades, he saw himself as a failure. But in his late 70s, during the pandemic lockdown, he began revisiting his old journals, boxes of them. As he reread the pain, the self-doubt, and even the moments of humor, something shifted. He began noticing how often he had bounced back, how deeply he had loved, how much he had grown. He started organizing those entries into themes: resilience, forgiveness, letting go. Eventually, he turned them into a small book called Letters to the Man I Was. He self-published it with the help of his grandson. That book now circulates in retirement homes across Europe, not because it's perfect, but because it's honest. Eduardo says, "That didn't rewrite my past. I finally understood it, and in doing so, I forgave myself." The past as foundation, not chain. In Buddhist thought, clinging to the past causes suffering, but understanding the past brings freedom. In Stoicism, we're taught to face the past directly, not with shame, but with strength. You can't change what happened, but you can change your relationship with it. The past doesn't define you, but it has refined you. And now, it can remind you of who you truly are. So Pisces, as you move forward into this powerful new phase of life, don't forget to look back, not to stay there, but to retrieve the gems hidden in old chapters. Your story is not over, but every page you've written so far, that's your compass. Pisces, if this journey has shown you anything, it's this: your time is not behind you, it is now. April 2025 isn't just a cosmic event. It's a spiritual invitation to rise, to trust, and to begin again. Whether it's building new wealth, welcoming a deeper love, awakening forgotten creativity, or simply finding stillness in your day, you are not starting from scratch. You are starting from experience. Everything you've lived through, the heartbreaks, the quiet victories, the dreams you tucked away, they were never wasted. They were preparing you for this very moment. You didn't miss your chance. You were ripening. So breathe deeply, stand tall, and take one step forward, just one, toward the life your soul has always whispered about. And before you leave, do this. Like this video if something resonated. Subscribe for more content that speaks to your spirit. And comment below, "I am ready to rise into my full power." Let that intention echo out into the universe, because the stars are listening. The world hasn't seen the best of you yet, but now it will.